Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. We are going to be discussing 3 topics. I have one, Trev has one, Jake has one. We got things we want to talk about. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Jimmy. Sitting next to me is Jake in California, Florida still. Trevor and BBD in the corner. Little midweek episode for everyone here. How we like running these is everyone brings a topic they want to discuss. We each got something lined up. I'm excited to do it. But Trev, how's Disney World going?
You know, I've really had a great time on this trip. I've realized a few different things I'd like to share with you guys.
Okay.
I'll go sappy first and then real second. Sappy being, and this is true too, the joy on a child's face, like pure joy, is something that everyone needs to experience. Taking the kids to Disneyland, watching them just like have the time of their lives, that's so good for the soul. And I got to see that a lot this weekend, and that was awesome. Or this early in this week. Jake, you'll probably never do that because you're a mean person. Jimmy, you're going to be a great nurturing person, father figure. I can just tell right away. BBD, I don't know, you have to have sex first.
Oh.
Secondly, I'm back. I'm back. So
Katie already said
point
I'm
one,
babysitting.
Point one, it was awesome to see this joy. I've never seen my kids so happy. It was awesome. Second point I had is a little more of a 10 p.m. take for me, and it's 4:20 yesterday. It's kind of when I had this revelation. I was eating a burger, and I think this goes for all sandwiches. Depending on the way, if you eat your burger upside down or the other side, like where the condiments lie makes such a huge difference. Like if you have your condiment on top, which is what I prefer, you get to kind of like get that mixed in with the bite. If it's on bottom, just gets like mixed in with all like everything else, you don't really taste it. I don't enjoy that.
Well, I think some condiments like mustard, they'll rub into the bottom of the burger because it's more just like a layered overall. And then your ketchups, your mustard, your ketchups, your barbecues, those are more dipping where you want it specific bite.
I'm a condiment on top.
Of course, but when professional burger places do it, they don't usually rub the ketchup into the bottom. They rub the mustard or the mayo flat around the bottom.
Talking about a bun?
I don't even consider that a
bun.
topping. That's like a bun accessory at that point.
The
Those aren't
lettuce
condiment.
on the bottom, the lettuce on the bottom to keep it from getting soggy doesn't work for me. You just got to eat it quick.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we're all on the same
That's
page.
what I was thinking about.
You can hide the pickles on the bottom. We all agree there?
I'm not a pickle guy.
Not really.
Okay.
I'd prefer them on top.
I accidentally ate it upside down. That's where I
So
had
that's just a you thing.
I
You can
ate it
pickle me
upside down. It's
wherever.
like, this doesn't taste right to me. And then I started thinking, whoa, like what else am I doing? Like,
That's huge.
which one?
Trev, I'm going to be a great parent up until like age 10 or so. And then when they pass me wavelength-wise, that's when we get into a dangerous territory. Because I'm going to be a peer and equal and a good time for about a decade. And then it's going to be like, oh,
I'm just kidding. You're going to be a great father.
he's not
to
all
of you
there.
guys.
He's missing some screws.
You guys are going to be great. I was just trying to say, sorry for taking a dig at you and BBD. Just trying to say it was really cool to see kids like very, very happy. It's nice. Good for the soul. That's all I got. I'm back.
All right. Jake, you got anything?
Good to have you back. Yeah, we did some soul cleansing last night. We got pretty high at a baseball game, so.
And the Yankees won.
Yankees are back.
In kind of like a high, weird 420 way, they won.
By the Braves being bad. News?
Yeah.
No, but just Trev, I think we need an unplug replug. You're roboting for the audience.
Wow, Robot Trev coming at us.
My name is
Yeah.
Trevor.
I think your mic was fine. I think BBD's getting a little redemption here.
I took you deep in the
It's the only
bushes.
fix I can think of.
I think, yeah.
How is it now?
I think that's a little redemption.
We'll see what the the chat says.
We'll see.
In the meantime, I'll tell you guys about, if you're Yankees fans and listening to this, you're going to hear it on all our other programs, but I'll fill up some time now while Trev re-robots himself. Adoni Batista is the man. He gets suites for people at Yankee Stadium, Trev, and then just builds like these super fan suite watch parties, basically. So like the average fan who never thinks they could ever afford a suite can afford one, and now they're not in there at like a corporate event. They're in there with a bunch of other diehard fans. Like that's how Jake and I got into it last year, because this dude, Adoni, hooks it up, and he hooked it up for us last night. And if you're a Yankees fan, or you just have a group of friends and you want to go see your team play and you're in New York, whatever, if you want to go to suite, reach out to him. It's BAT1 STA on Twitter, or phone number, write it down, 917-636-7950. Text him. He's always got suites. He's always, even if there's just two of you,
Sweet.
He'll find you a room somewhere. He's like the broker of suites at Yankee Stadium.
Gets into the suites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like reasonable prices.
cool.
Yeah.
It's like all you can eat, all you can drink, dessert tray.
Ooh,
And-
with the food and stuff.
Yeah, you
Oh,
get the
yeah.
whole package.
Some tendies.
So,
Yep.
like, you could pay tons of money to sit field level, or you could pay that same amount of money to be in a suite with a bunch of diehard fans getting the all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink experience.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So,
It sounds like a great idea.
yeah, it's crazy.
Friend.
Is Trev's voice better?
No.
No.
But try it. Say something.
Let me just completely unplug, replug.
Still bad?
You guys go ahead.
All right.
Come back in a
It's weird because it
second.
does sound normal for you. In the board, it's good, but getting to hear it's weird. But you guys aren't roboting, and only he is, and I don't know what's happening. So I'm trying to figure it out.
Do a little leave comeback, little rendezvous reset.
I'll start my little segment, Trev.
I'll catch you up.
We've been looking at, on the series recaps, we do a lot of individual performance, right? We do the standouts, we do the Enfuego and all that. I wanted to kind of look at offensive pitching statistics as a team to see what teams are at what place as a unit. And there were some things while doing this that I stumbled into that I found interesting. The first thing I actually did, though, is I just wanted to see, betting-wise, which team has been hitting the over more or the under more, and if there was any surprising thoughts that come from that. And I ran into one. The Toronto Blue Jays have hit the under 70% of the time, which is really bizarre to me because they were supposed to have bad pitching and great hitting. And to hit the under, you got to have weak hitting and great pitching. So they are bet the under on the Blue Jays right now.
Okay.
Minor league ballpark effect. I don't know what it is. The Reds have hit a ton of overs because they were scoring so many runs. And then Atlanta, man. Atlanta's having a tough time. They're in town. We just watched them pitch. Atlanta has hit all the overs. They're 10-6-1. Their pitching hasn't been great. Their hitting's been good, I think. But I was looking at, we were on the car ride going in today, and I was looking at teams. Yeah, so Atlanta is 5th in team OPS.
Okay.
Yep, but they are 30, 29, 27th in team ERA. So their pitching's been a problem. And then so that's that. Do you have any thoughts on the Blue Jays, the over-unders, Atlanta, whatever I just said? That was kind of the first thing the Blue Jays surprised me.
Yeah, I know they've been getting some efforts early this year. I mean, Matt's has been good for them, and we were surprised by their bullpen on opening day when we all watched them together. I think they had a little bit of a better bullpen than we expected. I know Merriweather just went down. Yates went down before the season, so that kind of doesn't really count. But, yeah, it's a little surprising. I mean, I think a couple things in my head that mentally tie into that. The Blue Jays have also been missing George Springer, Teoscar Hernandez, and Simeon, who was supposed to be the other free agent signing. He kind of got off to a slow start this year, and that's got to make you a little nervous because we've done the Marcus Simeon game before. I mean, he really has one standout year, and then the other is kind of another level ball player. So still a couple weeks in, April 21st, if Marcus Semien has a good 8 games, he has a nice April.
Yeah.
So that's baseball a little bit. But I think the Blue Jays had a little more pitching depth than we expected so far. But what does that mean?
They are 6th in team ERA, but they're like 25th or so in team OPS, which is just the opposite of what you expected. But yeah, I mean, Matz has been really good for them. Really, really good. And so is Robbie Ray in his 2 starts.
Tight butt.
Yeah. I mean, that's a recipe for unders right there. When the computers expect a team to score a lot and give up a lot, and then they don't score.
Yeah.
And they don't give up a lot. That's the recipe for unders. Some of those guys have stepped up. I'd be willing to bet on going forward, some overs coming, some regression back to the mean, coming back, the bats coming alive, the pitching kind of getting blown up a little bit. So maybe if you're looking for an edge, if that's what we're talking about here, it's gonna happen. Like, this isn't gonna be a team that's lights out pitching and can't hit. Like, that's not this team. Like Jake said, there's a couple guys missing. Let's get those guys back in the lineup. They're gonna give up some runs because both places they're playing at, whether they're in Toronto at all this year, are they ever gonna get back to Toronto?
Not this year. They're going back to Buffalo in May, I believe.
Yeah, I think something would have to change. Yeah.
I think I don't know about Buffalo, but I do know Dunedin, kind of a place that can give up runs, give up home runs. And Buffalo, I think, played pretty fairly last year. We looked that up at some point. But that's interesting. I mean, yeah, that's, like I said, that's kind of the recipe, man. Underachieving offensively and overachieving on the pitching side.
Yep. They're
Bobby
7
Ray.
They're 7-10, but they've scored more runs than they've allowed. So it's kind of an interesting start for the Blue Jays. But they did have a 15-run game. All right.
Should we hit our friend up at the D-backs at D-backs and be like,
D-backs.
hey, if you guys see what Robbie Ray is doing, how you feel?
I don't think they want to see that.
It's been only like a couple innings, 2 games. All right. So then the Braves. The Braves have the most barrels and solid contact in baseball this season. So they're squaring the ball up. They're just not getting lucky. I don't know what's going on.
I'd love to see what that looks like if you take out Acuna.
Well, okay. Let me do it.
Like if you just take out Ronnie.
Because he's gone.
I know. We saw them last night. They're playing a bad brand of baseball right now as well. And I mean, I know Freddie's
He
been
has
hitting.
13 of the 76 solid contact or hard hit balls.
So that's, everyone knows that's 40%.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do it, man. I thought you were gonna try to do the math right there. Dang.
13 goes into 26.
It's 17%.
17%.
For one player.
Yeah.
Freeman's got a ton too. I think Freeman's actually got
Freddie's
more.
good.
But I thought that was surprising. And then the other, I looked at the top and bottom of just which teams have been barreling up balls and were making solid contact. The Mets are in last place by a lot, which I thought was super surprising because their offense is good and the Mets have been playing well, right? Or
They've been winning.
They've been winning. I haven't tuned into their games, but I did. So I listed all the MLB teams. This is just, they made solid contact.
Do they have quantity a lot less? Because they've also played a lot less games.
So they're second worst in percentage
Okay.
of pitches seen versus pitches hit with solid contact or barreled.
Gotcha.
They're 30th in quantitative. They've only had 30 balls hit with solid contact or barrel. Atlanta has 76. But so then the first thing I did was I went and saw, well, how many like hits have the Mets got out of that? Are they leading in at least that category, you know? But they're last. They have the least amount of hits on solid contact and barrels. Then I thought,
okay.
are they getting incredibly unlucky? Do they have a ton of hard hit balls for outs? But they're last in that as well. So the Mets offense and like significant drop-offs are just not barreling balls up or making solid contact at all. And I was surprised because I haven't seen Mets fans like complaining about that the way I've seen some other offenses or fan bases complaining about their offense. Maybe it doesn't show. I don't know.
I've been looking for expected batting average of the Braves. Did you go over that?
I can find that.
Where do you go for that? Is that Baseball Savant?
Yeah. But Baseball Savant has been delayed on team stat. They have it now. So they don't have the total here. They just have each individual player for expecting batting average. Acuna had a 395. Freeman had a 331. Those are both top 10% of the league. They don't have it.
You stumbled into numbers and, kind of the talk that teams will have with guys if you are struggling with the traditional numbers. If your batting average looks bad and, maybe even your slugging looks bad, they'll sit you down and say, but you're barreling the ball. Your expected batting average is this. Just stay the course. And I think that's a good thing for fan bases and fans in general, just to know. Like, yeah, you could just look at a box score and you could think something is going on that's completely different from real life, because baseball is one of those things. There is luck involved in it. You could square a ton of balls up, like you're saying, and not get anything to show for it. Or the opposite could be true. You could be shift beaten. You could be, throwing little jam shots out there and scoring runs. So if you're looking to gain an edge, and I think this is kind of where you're going, shout out DraftKings, you can find some of these numbers that you'd want to look forward to just by looking at those expected batting average. Maybe the BABIP is too high, maybe it's too low. Like, those things will get back to the mean, and if you could find a little statistical advantage there, I mean, that's the place to start, especially when you're talking over-unders, stuff like that.
And I'd be interested to find out, because, as you know, I get into the advanced stats where I need to, but I still think some of the traditional stats still tell a story. Jim, we haven't heard from the Mets. The Mets are third in getting on base right now, 330, which, again, that's not a particularly high number. And I think the other secret around baseball this year, and we've seen the OPS is lower than ever, and we saw, a lot of people complaining about a lot of different things earlier this week. The Mets have a 2.88 team ERA right now, and that's fourth in the NL. So, right now, baseball is...
I have it as 288.
That's what I said, 288.
Oh, you said 218.
288. That has them fourth in the NL. So think about that.
Yeah.
They have a team 2.88 ERA. That's fourth in the National League. So I think the secret right now is everyone's pitching. I don't know if the bats are taking a little while to wake up from spring training, or, if it's a lot of conversations that are happening on the internet right now, because these pitchers are pretty goddamn gross. So I don't know. The Mets stats page is pretty wild right now.
Yeah, it was
Guillorme, our guy, and Nimmo are slapping it around. Everybody else is not.
Nimmo has 2 hits that are considered solid contact or a barrel. Pretty wild.
You're gonna get
395. I'll take that.
A whole new conversation about pitchers and what's going on.
Well, last year team ERA was 244 across average team ERA. It's 444. It's 4 right now. And then like Jake said, OPS. Like, the offenses are struggling, and the pitching is doing really well, which I think is pretty normal for the start of the season. Bats get hot in the summer. Pitchers get tired in the summer.
Sure. It's cold. It's easier to pitch in the cold than it is to go up there and hit.
They were playing in some hail last night in Cincinnati.
If you're soft, I always found that you just had to trick yourself mentally and say, it's better for me, even though I knew it wasn't. You just trick yourself. Say, that pitcher's too cold out there. He doesn't know what he's doing. I'm a savage. I've been in cold weather. I'm ready for it.
You're savage in the box, man.
All right. Which player do you think has the most hits on poorly hit contact?
What's considered poorly hit contact, if I may ask that?
I'm guessing it's not. I'm guessing it's exit velo. I don't know.
David Fletcher.
Madrigal.
Let's see. I'm trying to find the definition of it.
Guillorme.
I know that like solid contact is exit velo, and then barrel is exit velo plus launch angle. So I'm guessing like the categories are poorly under, poorly topped, poorly weak. So I'm guessing it's launch angle plus exit velo, like straight down, straight up.
Ooh, Hosmer. We talking Haas?
Yermin Mercedes.
I was gonna say him.
And Randy Arozarena. They're tied with the most hits. But Randy's got speed. Yermin.
It's built different.
He is built different.
Man, when you go on a streak like that, it's a little scary. When you know you're not deserving of these hits and you're getting them, you're stoked, but you're also like, fuck, like, is it going to come to an end? Like, I'm not going to get these hits all year, so I better start barreling balls up. It's a weird place to be mentally because you're so happy. Your numbers look great, but you know, like, I'm not really seeing the ball that well. Like, this is kind of awesome.
It's definitely a combination of launch angle and exit velo because he has a couple here that are labeled weak hit, but 98 mile per hour exit velo, but -12 launch angle. So just like right into the ground.
Yeah. And that's where some of those stats you're going to lose some players. Like we mentioned, Nimmo's off to a great start this season, but I'm sure his combination of launch angle and exit velo isn't always going to cross.
Well, yeah, like Madrigal has 0 barrels or solid contact this year. It's not results indicative. I just found it interesting. Like, you have a team identity, and some team identities are like, yeah, that team just hits the ball fucking hard. And that's what you could say about the Braves right now, but they're not getting results. And you cannot say that about the Mets right now, but they are getting results. So I just always find it interesting that how many different ways it can be done. I was just scanning those pages, thought it was
chopping the onions differently.
Some stuff.
I like it.
Yeah,
I bet the Dodgers are good at everything.
Ain't bad.
They're hitting the ball hard. I bet they're also lucky. I bet they're just – there's honestly no stopping that team.
I watched a highlight reel of the Rays last night. I believe they beat Kansas City. And it was literally just a cutaway going into commercial. And it was like the Rays knocked it around last night, and they showed 7 guys barreling balls. And I was like, wow, I haven't seen that on a Yankees field this season.
Oh, my God.
Yankees are dead last in slugging and hard hit.
It's wild,
or not hard hit.
man.
The Mets are that.
It's wild. Bad baseball at the stadium last night.
The Dodgers are number 1, Trev, in base hits on solid contact and barrels.
Yep. Run it.
Red Sox got to be up there. They've been really good.
Yeah, they're top of all these lists as well. All the offensive lists, they've just been hitting the hell out of the ball.
And I don't know who their hitting coach is. I think they changed.
I think it's Verdugo.
Oh, yeah.
Poppy.
It's honestly probably JD Martinez, and then some guy, like whoever is there is also like just there.
Gets the assist.
Let's see. Tim Hires.
Yeah, Hires.
Oh, you remember Tim.
Did you see?
I don't.
Can I play the audio of that Verdugo clip if you haven't seen it, Trev?
Yeah. I saw, but yeah, go ahead and play it. Pretty cool.
Joe's tweeted it, right? Let me find him. The one answer when the guys ask Verdugo. So Verdugo was in Minnesota, and he's just chatting during BP with fans pretty casually, and they're asking him about his approach and his swing and all that as I scroll to find this. And they asked him why he does the toe tap, and it cracked me up.
Could ask me. I had the same answer.
Yes, it was. It's like the same answer that Jake had. Here it is. Let me make sure that I have the volume off on here. I do.
Does bang.
Okay, here.
So I just stay back, use my manos, and boom, straight to it. That's it.
And what about the lunch angle? What do you think about it?
Probably nothing. I don't think like mechanic. Nothing. I think get into my hitter's position, like get on time with the pitcher, and then direct to the ball. Boom, linea. Yeah, because you miss it, para calle, you go under. You fucking on top, like ground ball hard. Use the best way.
You do the slow toe tap, right?
Yeah.
Why you do that?
I just love that shit, man. I don't know why. Like, cause I feel like
started toe tap and been working for me, but I just want to keep.
Toe tap's smooth, bro. I like that shit, bro. For some reason, it's just like if a pitcher quick pitches me, whatever, I feel like I can get I'm already like loaded, and then from there it's just boom, boom. You know, if I me,
don't allow anybody down here at all.
Okay.
The security guy kicks the guys out. You got to get him on sequence. I love that. Why do you do the toe tap? Oh, I love that shit, man. Toe tap smooth. Just like style points.
It's interesting to hear him talk about that. It's what a lot of hitting Twitter, these like coaches on hitting Twitter, like they reference this all the time. They're like, hitters don't know what they're actually doing. Like they'll say that, they'll watch that. I guarantee someone's watched that. He doesn't know what he's doing. Direct to the ball, toe tap, all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you know what, dude? They work on mechanics, and then you need to separate mechanics and mental, like your mental game. Like those things don't work together. Like your mechanics you play, and like he said, you go up there and you try to be direct to the ball. Now, are you like straight down to the ball? Of course you're not, but that's what your mindset is. And it's cool to hear him talk. You know, I bet if you sat him down and you were like, all right, let's talk about mechanics, it'd be a completely different conversation. Like this is something.
Get him on sequence.
Doogie.
Okay.
I think
Let's
we.
go, man.
I think.
The
I think
toe tap
his,
the toe tap is strange for me because I feel like he's probably talking a different toe tap than I was. It was like shoved down my throat to do the toe tap, and I think what he does is different than he's using it as a load instead of a timing mechanism. Even though he said it, he's ready to hit. He's just loaded up in there. Ready
well,
to go.
he starts with like on his tippy toe, like no weight on his front foot at all, and then it's not high. It just very slowly drags it in front of him. I think his brother has reached out to us before, so we can ask him.
Yeah, he does stuff on the interwebs.
We'll ask him. So get Doogie on sequence.
Ian Happ was on sequence talking about his toe tap, a 2-strike adjustment that he made, and a guy that I always reference, and this is getting deep into hitting Twitter right now. Moustakis does it really well. You said it, Jim. You keep your front foot low to the ground, almost like you're dragging your spike.
That's what he does.
And I think that's the best way to do something like that, because you're not moving your head up and down as you stride, and it gives you the ability to be on time. Like he said, if a guy's quick pitching, if you just have the ability to fire whenever you want if it's close to the ground. When you have a big leg lift, you have to be really perfectly on time, and that's kind of why they used to teach it, the toe tap and all that stuff. But man, everybody's got something different. That's why hitting's beautiful.
It is. You know what else is beautiful? Magic Spoon cereal. I had some last night. No, I didn't have some last night because we got home from the game late. I had some this morning, dry. We were out of milk. I had some of the peanut butter one. I ate a ton the other night. Magic Spoon cereal. It is healthy adult cereal. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Only 140 calories a serving. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. You get a variety pack. You get cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. Fruity was my favorite. I think I might like the peanut butter dry a lot too. The chocolate dry. It's good stuff. You go to magicspoon.com/baseball, get yourself a variety pack, and use code BASEBALL to get $5 off. Cereal you don't have to feel guilty about housing down.
It's good. Fruity.
I like the fruity as well.
Fruity.
That's your guys' favorite as well?
Fruity might be the winner, yeah.
I mix it with the frosted, but I do like 70-30.
Ooh, almost like an Arnold Palmer right there. 70-30 mixture. That's the key for Arnold Palmer's, in case anyone wants.
I'm mixing
Write
the
that
peanut
down.
butter
Iced
chocolate. I'm not mixing the fruity and the
Frosty.
frosted.
Yeah.
Fruity and frosty.
Yeah, it's good. I like it, man. I didn't think I was gonna like it.
It's good. I love cereal.
I tried stuff like that before because I'm a no sugar guy.
Yep.
And so I had very low expectations, and then I went and I was like blown away. It's very good. Magic Spoon.
Boom.
Fruity.
Jake, you tweeted out something
Holy smokes.
the other day. You had Bregman in your replies.
Holy
You had
smokes.
Donaldson in your replies. You had Trevor
Bregman
Plouffe.
was in your replies?
Bregman was in the replies. Trevor Plouffe was in the replies. Peter Moylan was in there.
All the best third
You
basemen.
had all the players talking. What's on your mind?
So let me walk people through this. And I know the good listeners were with me, and that's why I started out the way I did. So I'm a little stony baloney on the couch, if we're being full disclosure. And the Yankees aren't playing. It's Monday. It's just me and the dog chilling. And what game is on MLB Network? But our friend Jack Flaherty versus Joe Ross has been so good this year for the Nats. So I was like, you know what? I'll tune into this. How often am I going to actually get to watch a full Jack Flaherty start? And, maybe I'll see some other stuff along the way. So game got a little out of hand, and that's fine. Good for the Cards. They were hitting, man. Holy smokes. Ball was flying off their bats. So the game gets a little out of hand, but I'm watching, and it's Jack Flaherty versus Juan Soto, and I go, let's go. Like, I pump myself up on the couch. I'm like, I am excited to see this. So the at-bat goes, back and forth. One, kind of mini Soto shuffle comes out in a big way. And then it's 3-2, and there's no runners on. So Jack Flaherty does what pretty much every MLB pitcher would do. He threw his best off-speed pitch that ended up out of the zone, started in the zone, ended up out. Soto spit on it, and he took his bag to first. So I say, hey, everyone in the trust tree, let's have a conversation. Because I get it. And this is perfect because everyone that couldn't recognize there's a conversation to be had, you're instantly out of the trust tree. You blew it. So that was good for me. That revealed the real ones. We went to Savannah and we watched Banana Ball. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously another extreme of the world.
Yes.
When there's a walk, it's the craziest play on the field. Everyone on the field has to touch the ball, and the runner could advance as far as they want. So if you're a speedster, there's a chance you get to third, and it's just pure chaos in action. And the guy that invented Banana Ball, he said to us, there's a couple things in baseball that just aren't good entertainment, and he said walks. And I thought about that for a minute because... And this was the reply that I do respect people for saying, but, a long at-bat when someone wins a walk, that's awesome. Yeah.
If you're rooting for the team. So I think the big distinction here is you have to take your watching games when you're rooting for a team out of it, because what we're trying to do is get more people to come that just like baseball. Like, you can just watch football. It doesn't matter if you have a rooting interest. You can just watch basketball. It doesn't matter if you have a rooting interest. So obviously, if DJ walks a 10-pitch walk, you and I are like, hell yeah, DJ.
Right.
But third-party entertainment.
And there's a multiplier to that is, these guys only get 4 plate appearances. So, it ties into the team and, our runner's on base and, Soto's on, so that creates the action. Not really. Like, Jack Flaherty knew when he threw that pitch that if he does walk him, he says, okay, well, I got a fresh count, and I think there's 2 outs, and I'll get the next batter. So I just wanted to open up the floor and have an honest conversation of how can we get just a little more action, because I think if Jack Flaherty, and that's what, so people countered me with that, and they said, well, you're saying the good stuff. If Soto doubles or Flaherty strikes him out, they're like, you don't mention tappers or weak groundouts. No, that's still better action. If there's a weak pop-out, that means Jack Flaherty beat Soto. And that's what I was wondering. And now, but if he comes in the zone and Soto rocks him, so I just wanted to open it up. And, man, I woke up to an interesting conversation. Your hitting coach, Trev, Josh Donaldson, was in there, 70-30. And he obviously had some ideas. This is a guy that has thought about hitting a lot. And that's become very apparent. Bregman just chimed in, which was funny. He was just like, maybe make the strike zone a little smaller. And it's like, all right, Bregs, thanks for showing up, man.
That's what he said?
Yeah. I don't know.
Make the strike zone smaller?
I don't know if it was it. I think he's still very nervous on the internet. And I get it after seeing some of the replies. But there is a way that we can make that a little more entertaining. And I know some people throughout there make walks worth a double. I still don't think that scares pitchers enough to not nibble. And I think that hitters would still want that reward of a double. So I don't know. I threw it out to the internet, and we you saw the results. It was all over the board.
I think pitchers would be if you make a walk 2 bases. I think pitchers would be terrified of that. I think it would eliminate walks immediately. I just don't know how much it changes the rest of the game. And we were talking with Moylan, who was at the game with us, and he was like not against it.
No,
he was like, "Oh, that would change." He's like, "You're not going to intentionally walk a guy because you don't get the force out. So like you're gonna all the best players that you want to see pitched to and you don't want to see pitched around are going to get pitched to because you don't get the force out. Like this whole season with Aaron Hicks hitting behind Judge, they've just pitched around Judge. Like, and it's a really frustrating thing to watch because it's like, oh, the guy I want to get pitches the most right now, the other team is just going to pitch around him. And obviously it's the best strategy for the other team, but entertainment-wise, like, well, that sucks. So I don't know. I thought it was crazy at first, and I was talking to Peter last night, and I was like, I guess it's not as crazy. It would really drastically change it. I don't know.
I have a ton of thoughts on this.
Hitter Trev.
First of all, yeah, like Jim said, a runner getting to be put on second base from a walk would drastically drop the number of walks down, because all we're trying to avoid as pitchers, as organizations, is extra base hits. They don't care about singles. That's why there's the shift. They don't care about walks,
Right.
especially with open bases, because you need to string together a bunch of hits to score if you're going single, single, single. You put someone on second base, is one hit, boom, they can score. Pitchers love that ERA. They love that ERA. Second thing I want to say is the walks are just another reason why these dudes are so soft. Because they know they don't have to challenge. They don't have to challenge because they can just let a guy go on first base. Like, I agree. Like, that's, as a fan, I'd want to see more guys have to challenge. Whether that means, you know, you don't have to throw a certain pitch, but like there should be incentives to throwing a ball in the strike zone when it's a full count. And that's kind of what you're saying, bring more action to the game. But the pitchers they would never do it because it's just another outlet for them. You know, it's another thing that's going to make them win more. It's another thing that's going to make the game easier for them.
I think
we got into it.
Sorry, keep going.
No, go. I mean, we got into it. You know, we you know how I am defending hitting Twitter, hitters on Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. You go, Jim, because I'm going to say some stuff I'm going to regret. Just go.
Well, I think the fact, and a lot of people are still fighting this, and it's why, like, you know, more action is better than the 3 true outcomes, is hitters want walks because it helps their personal stat. Pitchers don't care about walks because nobody cares if a guy is on first base at all anymore. No one cares if guys hit a single on you. Pitchers, like, think of that as not even getting beat. Like, whatever, it's just a single. He didn't really beat me. But, so they don't care about a walk. If it's just one walk an inning, like, no one gives a fuck anymore. And hitters are searching for the walk now because that's what gets them paid and gets them. So we're in a walk sport. Pitchers don't care about putting a guy in first via walk. Hitters consider it a win.
Walk is a huge win for a hitter.
I know. So it is like a weird, the most boring outcome of an at-bat is now the like thing that pitchers don't care about and hitters are striving for.
Yeah. And
pitchers, to be truthful with you, they don't care about runners on base really at all, especially with 2 outs. They'll walk the bases loaded rather than give up a 2-0 cookie, because they all they think about is, I can strike this guy out. Like, strikeouts, that's what these pitchers are brought up to do. It's to miss bats. So if a guy gets 2-0, screw it, I'll walk him. 2-0 again, 3-0, screw it, I'll walk him. Because I still think I can throw. First of all, I'm going to win 70% of the time, so I can get bases loaded. And if it's 2 outs, I can just get an out 70% of the time. But also, I can strike you out, because that's the kind of pitcher that gets brought to the big leagues nowadays. Dallas Braden, shout out, likes to refer to hitters as Neanderthals in the box. The thing about that Dallas is,
sounds a little bit
there's
like
never
Boone and the Yankees. Sounds like
There's-
offbeat Boone and Yankees quote. I think you might have.
There's
stolen
never been a
that.
time in the big leagues where more Neanderthals have been on the mound. A bunch of mouth breathers out on the mound. All they do is just try to throw the ball hard. They don't care about where it goes. Let me goo up my fingers, spin it, and throw it as hard as I can. There's never been a time. Dallas likes to romanticize about pitching and it being Greg Maddux, and I'm going to outthink you, and I'm going to throw this pitch in this count, and I'm going to hit this spot, and I know how to sequence it. Those days are gone. You have a small percentage of pitchers in the big leagues that still cares about actually pitching. The rest of them want to throw the ball as hard as they can and spin the shit out of it, and it's a bunch of just absolute Neanderthals. So don't call hitters that anymore.
You know what?
That's
I wish
not the
Moylan.
case.
Moylan's coming into the office today. I wish he was here now, because I don't want to speak for him, but he was echoing that. As he's a pitcher, he was echoing that same sentiment. He was like, no young pitchers pitch anymore.
No.
All they do is they stand there and they throw it as hard as they can. He's like sequencing, hitting spots. He's like, the younger you go talent-wise, the less you see of that even being attempted.
If you throw 97 and you make a mistake,
I may have
it
spoken
doesn't
a
get...
little bit for him too much, but
No,
he was saying
I was in on that combo.
Yeah.
If you throw 97 and you make a mistake, it doesn't necessarily get punished. That can still be a really good pitch. If you throw 97 with movement and it's anywhere over the plate, that's still really tough to hit. And so, I mean, the other thing, so the walk rates around baseball aren't really crazy up or anything like that, but I do think in this example, and hey, you know, maybe it's a shot at the Nats right now, but Juan Soto's Juan Soto. Behind him was Josh Bell, who's hitting 120 on this young season. So if you're Jack Flaherty, and then think of the math equations that start to come into play. You know, if he's down in the count to Soto, and when Juan Soto's ahead in the count, he's a 440 hitter or whatever it is, then the pitcher is smart enough to say, why even do this? I'm going to keep dancing, and then I'll get a fresh at-bat with Bell behind him where the numbers are on my side anyway. So I get it, and everyone's thinking of when you win a walk, and that is an awesome feeling, but that's not every walk. That's the minimal. That's almost the NL pitchers hitting argument. And it's like, hey, that was really cool. The Padres the other night when Cronenworth was on the mound and Musgrove caught it and David Price hit a sac fly. How cool is that? Yeah, but the rest of the time it sucks. So I know it's a tough thing to think about, but the walk has become such a reward for the hitter and not a punishment for the pitcher that it's just funny, people. I want you to think, like, get outside the box. And I love this sport. People are saying I don't love baseball because I don't like walk. I like baseball a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you. But, like, get a little creative. Like, someone suggested this. And would this stop walks? If Ronald Acuna Jr. gets walked, and then they could put on a ghost runner for him and he still gets to hit. Would that stop you from walking Ronald Acuna? I think so. I know that sounds crazy and that's ridiculous, but that's kind of what we're doing here. So, I don't know. I saw the double thing coming out, and a lot of the pitchers didn't hate that. Strosho got involved. He threw the like on there. And that's, you know, Marcus Stroman's a competitor. I think Marcus Stroman's one of the guys that's on the mound that says, I want to beat you every pitch. And you got to love that. And that's what baseball was, and that was the reason that baseball has gone away from that is the stats, the walks, and all of that. There used to be a pride factor. Pitchers used to hate walking dudes. Hitters used to hate getting walked. They wanted to get up there and hit. And as we've slowly, gradually moved on, I just think that kid in the stadium the other night, if Juan Soto took Jack Flaherty deep, or if Jack Flaherty punched him on a nasty slider, that kid goes back and says, oh, Flaherty diced him up, dude, it was nuts. Or, oh, Soto took him upper deck, bro. Instead, it was a walk, and here's Josh Bell, and I think he got out.
I mean, yeah, to your point, think about this scenario. Second and third, offense has done their job. They got runners in scoring position, 2 outs. Like, this is a big moment for the offense. Best hitter at the plate. What will they do?
You walk him?
They intentionally walk him. They just send him to first.
We saw it last night.
Yeah.
That is so soft when you really break it down. It like makes me. It pisses me off. So
it really
much.
is.
It's this. This is part of the game. That it's obviously. It just is baseball. It is what it is. It's strategy. I understand that, people. But I'm just saying, in the spirit of competition, think about how soft that is. I don't want to face you because potentially I could give up some runs here because you're a pretty good hitter. We have an open base. I'd rather pitch to somebody else. That is soft. And hitters don't have anything like that. There's nothing that we can do that's like, actually, you're too good, so I'm not going to face you. Can you bring in the guy that's not as good as you right now? Can you do that? Can I do like that's freaking ridiculous.
You're so good at baseball, we don't want you to play it. That's what happens there. And that's not great.
Dude, and pitchers, all they do, oh my gosh. You know I could go all day on this, and there's never going to be a pitcher that ever can beat me in a argument about pitchers being soft. Especially starting pitchers. You know I'm going to win that every time.
We'll do that another time.
Let's talk about, Trev, let's pivot to your topic, which is brought to you by Farm to Fame. Obviously, Peter Moylan, Kelsey Wingert are in town. They went to the game with us yesterday. They have a show on the John Boy Media Network. It's its own podcast feed. It's on the John Boy Media Baseball YouTube channel. All about these young prospects, these amateur players, college players. You got to know about them before you know about them, and that's what you can find on Farm to Fame. They even did like an episode on Sean Kazmar, who's 38, who got the call up. So if you like that aspect of the game, if you want to know who the young guys are that are coming up, I know Trev loves that. Who's going to be the next big thing? Farm to Fame, as you covered. Episodes every week. Check it out.
And how about a quick double ad? Someone they might be covering. Zach Short with the Compound just got the call.
Yeah, how about
so
that?
we like
Oh,
snaps.
hell yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Still waiting for mine.
Trev,
me ask-
yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Let me ask you something. Is Peter good looking in person? Because I feel like
Ooh.
he might be like really
Real big smile.
Pretty
Real
good
nice
looking.
smile.
His
nice smile.
his
No teeth.
whole thing is in energy. Like I actually thought about that last night. Like I'm Peter Moylan.
You were thinking about Peter Moylan's energy last night?
Big time.
Okay.
When Peter Moylan went out with the lads to the bar, there were people that were either all in on it or they were all out on it. But it's a look. I mean, I was giving him kind of retired music artist vibes. Like, yeah, we toured Sydney in 2008 and we just raped it up. But it's a look. It's a look. He's
Okay.
a character.
They've had episodes on Akil Badu, Jack Leiter, and Kumar Rocker. That's crazy stuff. Andrew Vaughn. They did a long episode on like every prospect that got the
Yeah,
call.
opening weekend.
Opening weekend. It's cool. It's good stuff. Go check out Farm to Fame. Trevor Plouffe, you went to a game this season. We've all been to a game this season now. And you want to talk about the fan experience at stadiums. What you got?
I believe this is like the first game I've taken my kids to ever.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think it is. So this is a new thing for me. And as a player, you come up through the minor leagues. Obviously, there's a bunch of crazy stuff that goes on at those games. And then in the big leagues, you really don't pay attention to any of that because you're just really focused on making a living. So I know the Trop isn't like the crown jewel of entertaining places, although they do a pretty good job. It just got me thinking about what can we do to engage, I think mostly the younger fans more. I think people, if you're an adult going to a baseball game, you understand what's going on. You get it, Jimmy, you call it a conversational sport where you can kind of hang, have a beer, have a conversation while you're still watching the action. And adults are okay with that. Guess who isn't okay with that? Kids.
Kiddos.
I sat there and I mean, maybe for like half an inning, they were just kind of watching intently and kind of like soaking in the scene. And then after that, I mean, literally half an inning, their minds are gone. So what do you do to, we always talk about when you have the youth back in the game. So you want to preach to them, watch the game, but you also want them to enjoy going to the game. And I struggle with this as a baseball coach of 5 and 6 year olds. It's like, I'm trying to teach them to play, but more importantly, at this age, I'm trying to teach them to like love baseball, to like have fun.
Yeah.
So like there's this fine line for me of let's watch them, let's teach them the game, show them the game, go watch those big leaguers. And then also they have to be stimulated enough to enjoy it so they want to keep going back. And then eventually they'll turn the corner and say, hey, I love baseball. Let's learn more about the intricacies of it, the strategy, all that stuff. You can't do that with a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
So, yeah, I think that's where we got to start, at least in my, like, your kids are young. I don't know if there's any, I don't know if there's ever any winning over 5 and 3-year-olds. So, at a big league game, at minor league parks, they have the berm that the kids can slide down. I'm sure Teddy would love sliding down the berm. They have playgrounds. A lot of them have playgrounds on the offset that they could just go run and play with all the other kids there. I don't know if that's ever going to be part of the major league ballpark experience.
Well, they do. See, they do. I talked to Olivia about this a little bit too. She's had a lot of experience bringing kids to games. I was like, tell me what you think should happen. She said, most major league stadiums do have some sort of area to bring the kids and let them run around.
Okay.
So I think that is, they've taken steps to try to solve this problem. The one thing that I thought of, and she actually shot this down, but I want to bring it to you guys.
All right.
Big business word I'm about to use right now. Business Trev coming. Synergy. Ever heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've heard of it.
My idea would be, what do kids like? Like what are they interested in? It's puppy dog pals. It's Mario, Super Mario, all these different things. Is there a crossover needed between baseball and more of these youth programming ideas?
So
My wife says no because she says they need to get away from that and just focus on baseball. I think there needs to be something to keep them entertained. If they see, for example, I'll use Mario because I'm a boomer.
Sure.
Even though my son likes Mario. I'll use Mario as an example. Cool. If Mario like is donning like, I don't know, a Mets jersey or a Yankees jersey and a kid sees that, don't you think they're going to be more interested in that team? Like, oh, Mario likes that team. I like Mario. And now I like that team. That's kind of my idea. And you could span that over whatever. You want to go the Marvel universe. So that's just, you want to go Star Wars.
That would be just baseball getting their logos and jerseys and like apparel into different worlds more. You know, which is...
Isn't that part of it?
It's the business model. The more people that wear John Boy Media shirts, the more people know about John Boy Media. It's like the same thing, right? So it's just marketing, but you got to make some deals with companies. My whole thing, Trev, and I guess I'll throw this back at you, is I don't think kids should enjoy, like at your age, like enjoy professional baseball games. I think you teach them the rules of the game and coach them and let them play on the playgrounds and so they understand the concept and the strategy, and then when life starts beating them up in high school or in college or post-college, when suddenly you need something to do after dinner every single night, that's when you hook in the adults as diehard fans. But you just got to grow an interest and love for it at a young age.
But that does make it tricky though, because we grew up in households where baseball was on the TV, so that kind of is the process. Like we played it. And then we were in it, but also you're young and you're doing a lot of different things in your life, and then you circle back on it. It's baseball does need to find a way out of households that aren't baseball. Like if you're just not a baseball household, it's over. Like at some point that's going to drop off.
Well, I just mean for fan experience, like their money comes from beer sales and food sales. Like I don't think their money comes from little kids
for short term, but you want those little kids drinking beers in 20 years. So Trev, I mean, I had a lose. You don't hear a lot of people say that, huh? It's true. I went when the game Fortnite first came out. I had to see what all the kids were talking about, so I played it for a little bit. I was really bad at it. I was the guy. I'd hide in a bush, and I'd hope everyone else killed each other, and I could sneak up on someone for the last kill. It was very pathetic. It was very pathetic. I think I was unemployed. Like times were good. So, Trev, Fortnite, they had every NFL team's jersey. Mm-hmm. So if you were a little kid and you want to play, and kids are addicted to these things. Like I'm sure there's a lot of studies that it's not great, but it's kind of what you're saying, where a kid could play that game and they could put on their local Denver Broncos jersey and play. I think there's two different things. It's MLB and marketing, and I do think they'd have to look at it at age brackets, like you're saying, Jim, because there should be an MLB life cycle. When people first start working that 9 to 5, and you're like, holy crap, that's not fun. But every 7 p.m. you can turn on your local team and dive in. And now with Twitter, it's so beautiful, the conversation, the friendships that we've seen in Yankee land that are real, that never would have existed years ago. People that bond over the Yankees together. It's a beautiful thing. So it's...
For the 10-up bracket, I have great ideas if you want to get there.
Jim's got ideas for the 10-up bracket. Let's get them. We're ready.
Jake and I have said these forever, so they're our ideas.
Can't steal them.
Every inning, this is what we do on the fucking live stream, so this is like what we have people watch with us. Every inning. All right, in between innings, before the inning starts. Okay, some lucky fan in section 210 will win a free bucket of ice cream if the pitcher strikes out the first batter of this inning. Now you have section 210 just like all on their feet. Little kids I want the ice cream, Dad. 2 strikes? Give me a third strike. And then the next inning, okay, this time it's section 20 versus section 80. If the leadoff hitter gets a home run, if the leadoff hitter gets a double, section 80 will all be getting free Skittles. Section 20 will all be getting free Skittles if the batter strikes out. Now you have 2 fan bases going at each other, and it's all off the TV broadcast. It's in stadium only entertainment, and that's how you get people perked up, and that's how you get little
Engaged.
kids like, wait, how do we get the ice cream? Like, well, he has to strike him out. What's that mean, Dad? Well, 3 strikes and he's out, and that's how you feed it. So that's what I think they should be doing at stadiums, because Jumbotron entertainment is cool, but it's always like, look at these 2 faces mashed together, and sure, it's entertaining little kids, but it's not teaching them the game at the same time. So that's what I do for stadiums. I don't know why they don't do that. It doesn't need to be. It's like, if someone's mad about that, they're kind of the very lame. I just want to watch the game. I don't need these gimmicks. Well, cool. Then ignore the gimmick. But that's what I would do. I mean, just get people involved.
It's incentive based, is what you're saying. I like that. I think that's great. Have you guys ever been to a kids' day at a park?
No,
I don't think so.
It's the worst. it's the worst day. You probably have like 5 or 6 a year. As a ball player, they're usually like Tuesdays at 10. You start the game at like 10 or something, some ridiculous time to make you play at. And it's like they bust in all these kids from the schools, and you're going to hear, the Who Lives in a Pineapple, like that whole thing. SpongeBob. Oh my. It makes an adult hate SpongeBob, but they're into it. So I get what you're saying, incentives based. I also think that we don't do enough as far as like, okay, you go to an NBA game, the lights are a thing. The music is a thing. Baseball doesn't have any of that rhythm. It is a slower game. Like I think there could be some music played. Kids freaking love music, okay? We have all the LED lights now that you can basically do a freaking light show with. Before we didn't have that. Before it took 15 minutes for the lights to turn on. Now you can flash them on and off. You can do different colors. I think in between innings, stuff like that needs to get better. Right now, in between innings, all they do is like over the speakers. You can't understand anything. Like they need to figure something out with that. It needs to be more like a Monster Jam.
The Yankees do stuff. They flash the lights. They like do have the organist. I think the Rays are known for having like terrible in-game entertainment. Oh, or at least I know that an actor who we saw at the World Series, who I won't name but has appeared on the show before, was just kind of laughing at like, look what they do. Because when the Rays were home games in Texas last year, they controlled the PA and the in-between innings. And the Dodgers fans were like, look at the difference when it's the Dodgers home team and the Rays home team of like the music in between innings and the DJ.
That makes sense. Yeah. Dodgers should be the best production value you're ever going to get. I mean,
all of this ties into entertainment. It is what it is. And, I love the beauty of sports and competing, but it's also entertainment value all around it. And, the best example about what Jimmy was saying is, if you've ever been to a basketball game and if the home team gets 115 points, everyone gets tacos. Guess what? When the team's got 113 points, everyone is going bonkers. The game could be a blowout. Why aren't we doing something like that every inning, every half inning? And it can engage with the sport like Jimmy was saying. And I don't know if you guys remember this. This was from 2019. There was a group of British fans that went to an Orioles game and they all sat in left field. And they were like enjoying baseball, but also trying to like enjoy it on a soccer level, like let's be rowdy and have a good time. So Anthony Santander was in left field, and every time he did anything, they went nuts. They like he'd catch routine fly balls, and they'd just start going bump, 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 bump. Like they were having a blast out there, and that's what it is. Like people just want to have fun. That's why we go to baseball games. That's once you get more into the baseball, you get tied in that, we're watching the game last night and you see strike 3 on a big 3-2 pitch and you get excited about it because Tyone's pitch count's going up and they'd have to go to that guy in the pin. But if they go to him earlier in the pin, is that going to cut him off earlier? And then, Justin Wilson, he still hasn't pitched to us. That's when the game starts all connecting, and that's when it's beautiful. But, you bait him in with the free taco, and then you go from there.
It's just I just think there's work to be done. I'm not saying I have all the answers. It was my first experience taking the kids. I know they're at a very young age. But even if they were 12, 10 years old, there just wasn't enough for them. Like if you're a young kid, I mean, it really is not an experience necessarily for kids. They're going for the ice cream, the Cracker Jacks, all that stuff. They're not going for the product on the field.
So what can we do to
what could we do to make them more interested in the product on the field? I don't know. I'm spitballing.
When I went to games when I was young, before I under 12, I guess, because I moved away from New Jersey when I was 8. So, but we came back and went to a game every day, every 6 months. Blah, blah. On 10 and under, my dad would buy right field box seats at Yankee Stadium, and I would sit down and I would face the bleachers for 9 innings straight, and I just watched the Yankee Stadium bleacher creatures, and and that was like my entertainment. They'd just do chants nonstop. They'd kick people out. There'd be fights every now and then. I guess that's not great, but I'm not the average kid. But that was my I was like, Dad, I get right field box seats. My dad knew that's what Jimmy likes watching the bleacher creatures. Because they just do all those chants.
It's entertainment.
All of them are illegal now. They don't do them anymore.
Last thing I'll say, because I do have to get to Chris Rose IG live. Going to go live with him at in 8 minutes. The giveaway thing. It's so easy. Every inning, an outfielder should bring out 3 baseballs and throw them into the stands. Get people engaged that way. You might have to give up a little. Give them something so they're engaged. And I caught a ball from so and so. Wow, who is that? I want to know about him. I think there's just a lot of things, man. But they're not easy, and some people will hate them. But I think that's not the point. You always say, Jim, we already got you. Or you don't like that. You don't like that.
If you're listening,
we already got the old people. We need to go find a way to get young fans more interested in going to the ball.
If you're listening to this show, we love you dearly, but you are not who MLB needs to cater to.
You're hooked.
We're hooked.
We're hooked.
Yeah.
And then you could do things that I would have liked to seen some things from me as I'm watching the game. It's they need to do stuff for adults as well.
Oh, you know what they can do to make the fan experience better? Mic up the damn umpire so you know what's going on. And then show replays on the Jumbotron so you don't have to text your buddy at home and be like, was he out or was he safe? Hey, Dad, why'd they stop play? What's going on? That's a reality. You have to text someone who's in front of a TV when you're at the game because they just don't show. They're getting a little better at that, but you have the ability to show these replays. Not only if it's a close call and going to replay, show replays of the game on the big screen. If it's a nasty pitch and the dude strikes out, put it on the big screen so everyone can see how nasty the pitch was.
Oh.
They don't do that at all.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know why they don't do that. It seems so easy.
Replays.
Just have, you have the feed. In the suites that we were just at, they have that, right? We have,
yeah,
so
nice. the video.
So we can watch the game and then we can turn up and see the pitch. And that's, I kind of love these suites now, among all the other things. But that's kind of the shitty part about watching a game live is you don't really know what the pitcher's doing. So they just show the replay of the pitch on the big screen. Takes 2 seconds. Do that. All right. Great episode, everyone. We will be back on Friday with the weekday series recap. I think Trev will be sans Trev one more time, so it'll just be Jake, myself. BBD will bring you the interleague, and then we'll be back Monday and all the rest.
I land, Jim. I'm just say this right now. 2 things before I leave. One, I land at 9:30 a.m. If I rush it back and you guys want to hold off, I can be there. If not, I understand.
Well, text us when you land, I guess.
That's when you land.
Wait, but we start at 9 your time.
I know.
I don't think that's going to work.
Bro. Okay. Just, you guys got it. One more time. I
Love.
appreciate you guys letting me enjoy this time. Number 2, I'm going to put a tweet out there later. I need everyone to go like that tweet.
Huge.
It's going to be a little sexual.
Okay.
Can you hit him with the
little
darling?
baseball. I
like reading Trevor Plouffe's stuff. He's got a lot of good takes.
We all have to be Ron Darling or Trev.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to put it out. I'm going to do the Chris Rose thing. I'll put it out in a little bit. Please be nice to me because, sometimes I look at other Twitter accounts and I don't want to be like them. So I need the engagement.
Done.
And Jake and Jimmy know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe BBD too.
Disco Neil retired.
Shout out
Neil.
Disco Neil.
Friend.
Love Neil.
Here's an awesome interview. Go listen to that if you want to.